Let's look at how easily we can set up automated phishing investigation using FortiSOAR. As a first step, there are employees in the organization who are sending suspicious email to a designated email address. This email address is typically monitored by the SOC team. FortiSOAR ingests these email and creates a corresponding alert record of type suspicious email. Once the alert is created, it goes through a process of indicator extraction, followed by enrichment, and then an investigation response playbook is triggered on the alert. In about next 10 minutes, we will experience the full cycle of using Phishing Response Solution Pack. We will start from installing the solution pack to configuring the required connectors and finally working through the alert using automated response playbook. Let us start with installing the solution pack itself from the Content Hub. To install the desired solution, navigate to Content Hub in the left-hand menu and search for phishing. Once you see the desired solution pack, such as phishing email response in this case, click on the card to review the contents of solution pack. Navigate to the Contents tab and review what's included in this solution pack. In this case, there are a bunch of playbooks, data records, and global variables. Go back to the summary page and observe the dependencies as well on other solution pack. These would be installed automatically. Let's go ahead and start the install process. In a typical environment, this installation could take a couple of minutes. For the purpose of this demonstration, let's speed up to jump to the next step. Now that the solution pack installation is complete, let's take a look at some of the contents that were installed. Notice a new simulations menu, which has appeared. Basically, this has come from SOC Simulator Solution Pack. It provides you with a framework for simulation of scenarios or tabletop exercises for your dev, test, and demonstrations. Observe that there is a scenario named as phishing email, and also there is a new playbook collection which is installed by this SP, and it contains various types of playbooks. Particularly, look at Investigate Suspicious Email Playbook, meant for automating the response procedure. As part of any alert processing, there will be various indicators you will come across. To enrich the context and establish reputation of those indicators, let us configure threat intelligence connectors such as VirusTotal, Fortinet, Web Filter Lookup, and URL Scan.io. Let's pick up a URL from Mancillo URL feed and look it up in VirusTotal. Notice, in this case, there are 14 security vendors, including Fortinet, who have flagged this URL as malicious. Let's go back to FortiSOAR and configure VirusTotal connector to have automated enrichment of the URL indicators. You will need an API key from virustotal.com. A trial key works well for quick test. However, for production use cases, you will need a VirusTotal premium key. Let's create an indicator record for the same URL and observe how indicator is enriched with contextual information from VirusTotal, and also a reputation is established based on score returned by VirusTotal. Notice a summary card as well as scanning results from selected vendors. Similarly, let's now configure FortiGuard Web Filter Lookup as well as the URL Scan.io connector to have additional enrichment of the context. You will need an API key from the URL Scan.io website. Trial key works just fine for the dev and test use cases. Let's go back to the same indicator record and trigger enrichment manually. Observe that indicator enrichment is also a playbook, and therefore you can edit that to tweak the logic of enrichment and establishing the reputation. Note that this time we have additional context from FortiGuard as well as screenshot of the URL from this URL scan.io. Let's configure email ingestion, or in simple words, a mechanism to periodically read the emails and create the corresponding alert records in FortiSOAR. To explain this aspect, we have set up two email addresses. Employee007 on gmail.com, representing an employee who wants to report suspicious email. Notice that email is attached Second, a SOC inbox on Outlook.com, a designated email address where suspicious email can be reported to SOC team. Observe SOC inbox already has an email, and also notice that suspicious email is attached as a MSG file. As a first step, let's configure Microsoft Exchange connector to be able to read emails from Outlook.com base account. Provide credentials to access the account such as username, email address, and password. Also ensure to check email notification service setting. This setting allows us to get the email ingested almost instantaneously as opposed to periodically pulling from the email. At this stage, connector is ready to be used. Let's now use Data Ingestion Wizard to configure the actual mapping of incoming email metadata into FortiSOAR alert fields. Ensure that you have at least 100 email in the inbox. Wizard will fetch this email to continue to the next step. At this step, you can click in any of the alert fields in the left-hand side panel and then click on the corresponding required field in the right-hand side window to map each other. Notice that there are a bunch of static fields. An Exchange connector sets a good default mapping for well-known fields of interest, and therefore you can simply click Next to continue in the wizard. You don't need to schedule the ingestion because you've already enabled notification service. Go ahead and complete the wizard and also click the Trigger Ingestion Now to quickly read the emails and convert them into alert records in the system. Let's go ahead to the alert section and observe the alert that just got created as part of the ingestion process. This alert should have several actionable information required for further investigation. Let's go ahead and open the alert record to review those details. Observe various fields of interest parsed out and cleanly presented, starting from the title of the alert itself, which is mapped to the subject of the email. A reporter information section contains email address of the person who reported along with a note of what the person mentioned. Email details section contains various information about the reported email such as sender, recipient, return path, etc. Also observe that email headers are presented in an easily comprehensible manner. The relevant fields of interest are extracted as indicators and are also enriched using threat intelligence connectors. Notice system has a triage playbook that increases the severity of the alert to critical because there were malicious indicators identified. Let's review an automated response playbook for phishing emails. Launch the Investigate Suspicious Email playbook and observe various steps being taken. Once the playbook is triggered, a document notes of various actions being taken. At the moment, playbook is paused and prompting the analyst to confirm whether she wants to mark this email as try by download. Let me suspend that prompt for a moment and review the other notes. To begin with, an acknowledgement email is sent to the reporter, followed by various validations such as SPF check has failed, sender and return email addresses are different, hence the alert is tagged as spoofing. Suspicious keyword match is flagged, in this case the keyword Bitcoin was identified. Now let's resume the playbook and look at the subsequent actions. Based on threat intelligence lookup, a given URL is identified as malicious, hence playbook is prompting to confirm the blocking action. Note as part of the default installation, there are some placeholder playbooks such as one for mitigation and closure of alert at source. You should edit those playbooks to use the automation for respective devices. At the end of the playbook, a response is sent to the reporter about the analysis of reported email, and finally playbook closes the alert, and it took about 2 minutes approximately for playbook to finish. You can review the course playbook has taken by going to Executed Playbook Logs and navigate to Investigate Suspicious Email Playbook. Notice there are many other playbooks in the list. These are invoked for respective purposes on events such as alert created, severity change, alert closed, etc. That concludes the demo. Thank you for watching.